Hello, my lovely people, and welcome to the video. I'm feeling really inspired right now to talk about something that is on my mind, and that is manifestation. This word, manifestation, it gets thrown around the spiritual community so much, and so many people have techniques. How to manifest, how to create the life of your dreams, the whole thing. I feel like that word has lost its meaning in a lot of ways for a lot of people. Like, no one can agree on what it actually means. But I'm here to clear up, from my perspective, how I see it, and to explain from my own experience why it may not be working for you in the way that you think it should be working or that other people are telling you it should be working. So let's get to the real talk, the real practical, but also spiritual components to this. So manifestation. The word manifestation is really just akin and another word to describe creativity, craftsmanship, artistry, taking something from A to Z. It's very simple. It's taking something that starts in the non-physical as an idea, as a thought form, as an intuitive hit, etc., and bringing it into physical reality, making it real somehow, making something structured, 3D out of it. The tricky thing in the spiritual community with manifestation and with law of attraction techniques and all these different techniques, etc., is there's always such an emphasis on thinking and feeling a certain way and matching the vibration of the thing so that it comes into your reality. I'll actually reference Bashar. I love Bashar on this because Bashar says, well, no, it's not quite that. That's really only half the truth. The real truth is you as you are in your essence as a soul already knows and has a blueprint for exactly what it is you are here to create. You already want to create exactly what it is your soul wants because it's one and the same. You and your soul are one. The issue is that ego gets in the way. And that ego is not just like surface level ego that we think. So many people's egos are in the way of their creative process. It's literally like it's an endemic, like pandemic of its own in humanity that we block our creativity. So I kind of want to use the word creativity for manifestation for the rest of this video so that we can look at it from a different lens. The act of creativity, and it's an act, requires us to show up, and it requires us to be an instrument and to be a vessel. It requires this. Nothing can be created if we are not willing to be an active participant in the creative process. This is also where I find manifestation techniques really fall short, is that we like to... It really creates a hotbed for like bypassing and sort of this avoidant way of trying to create things. It makes us think that the first step, which is imagining something or thinking about something, is enough. That's enough. And that'll just, somehow you're going to get from point A to point Z, you're going to skip all the letters in between, and it's just going to appear, poof, magical one day. And you just have to give it enough time. If you keep thinking it and give it enough time, it'll just appear, bam. That's the thinking that so many people are in, and I was sort of in this for a long time, or through different periods of my life, and this is very easy thinking to get into when you do feel like you don't have control, or you do feel very limited in your life. I feel like a lot of people, like, yeah, let's get into this. I feel like a lot of people who are in situations in their lives where they don't feel like they have control, or they feel very limited, or traumatized by feeling like they don't have permission to be fully authentic and be fully in their power. I feel like these types of techniques, I feel like some teachers and some coaches, and maybe this is subconscious, it's not necessarily malicious, but I feel like these types of people can become like prey to this type of thinking, because it allows them to bypass their shadow. These types of manifestation techniques allow a lot of people who are attracted to spirituality to bypass their shadow. And what is the shadow? It is your grounded physical vitality and power, and your ability to move through the physical realm doing what you want, going for what you want, having what you want. I feel like there's a huge wound for a lot of people in the spiritual community around actually being allowed to have what you want, being allowed to go for what you want, and being allowed to take action. You may have a lot of hang-ups around taking action in general. Like, there might be a lot of emotional baggage and a lot of heaviness and a lot of, like I keep saying, blockages and limits around like your solar plexus, your willpower, your ability to take the steps that are needed and necessary, the actions that are necessary to make something come into fruition. I know that's definitely the case for me. And so it's the most natural thing ever to want to bypass this shadow and just go from A to Z in the conscious mind with what you're strong at, which you're already probably strong at visualization. You're probably already very strong at visualizing, imagining, seeing the bigger picture, etc. Because this is your strong suit by nature of your upbringing and who you are. But the true integration and the true ability to create is going to come from your ability to like get physical and get strong in your body and in the grounded part of our reality, because you are desiring for there to be something physical, something real, something here in the 3D, but your physical vessel is not being used to create it, right? So I always recommend The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron to people, because this is such an eye-opener. This book, it's a workbook, and it's a weekly book that you do exercises through, but it teaches you about creativity. I love the idea that on the other side here, the spiritual realm, there are all kinds of unmanifest potential inspirations flowing in like a stream, and it's like they knock at the door of different people, ideas for things like businesses, enterprises, homes, places to live, communities, etc. Like, the list is endless. Everything is a creative process. And it's like these ideas want to find their vessel. They want to find somebody who will be able to bring them into form. But it's like the person who's going to be able to bring them into form is the person who's willing to follow the intuition and take the risk and take the action, regardless of what it looks like on the surface, but to take the action, to bring it into form. And what can taking the action look like? If you're a writer, it looks like you just sitting down at your desk and writing whatever wants to come through in that moment, but doing it consistently, not perfectly. Not like the best-selling New York Times #1 bestseller tomorrow, the first time you sat down to write. Like, can that happen? Sure, it might. Maybe that's part of your soul blueprint. Maybe that's part of a lesson you're here to learn. But for the most part, it's probably going to take you sitting and writing and honing your craft over a while, maybe years. That's just the reality of being a craftsman, of being an artist. Even you as a spiritual seeker. I don't know how long some of you have been on this path. I know myself, I've been on this path for 5 years. And it's like even starting to do tarot, even starting to do messages like this. it took me a while of honing my craft, honing my knowledge, honing my own spiritual experiences, going through like, the school of life. And I still have much to learn. I'm just at the beginning, but it took me like 5 years just to kind of get rolling here on YouTube with messages and to feel strong enough to teach and like start a business out of it. Like, it takes time. It takes time to lay foundations. It takes time, but it always also requires action. And the biggest pitfall and biggest distortion and biggest shadow I see in the spiritual community and when people are talking about manifestation is this idea that really fulfilling, wholly integrated results are going to come to somebody who is not fully integrated or wholly realized themselves and not even realizing it. I think like even the idea of being in manifestation techniques all the time, like journaling or visualizing or doing these types of things constantly all the time, do they work? Yeah, I think they work. I think thinking and I think that feeling into things works because it gets you prepared for action, but you have to take the action when it comes to you. When that instinct hits you, when that intuition hits you, when that idea hits you and you're like, okay, I'm ready now, that's the time to do it. Too many people though will think and feel their way into something, but then they avoid the instinct, they avoid the action because they think, well, I'll just keep thinking, I'll just keep feeling, and it'll just appear in an easier way, in a simpler way. I've found that do those magical things appear? They can, yes, but it's never truly magical. It's always a byproduct of something that I was already doing or something I was already facing, a challenge I was already facing, sometimes seemingly unrelated, but I know it was in connection spiritually to that thing. So I'll give an example. Like, there was this really difficult conversation I had to have with somebody in business. This was last year, late last year, and there was this really difficult sort of battle I had to have with this person and stand up to this person. And it felt like a type of standing up I'd never really accessed before, and it expanded me in that moment, and I could feel it in my solar plexus. I felt this strength, and it felt like you have expanded. And the next day, I got this huge opportunity for something that I had been wanting for a long time, trying to manifest for a long time, but it didn't get to me until I had taken that scary action of, in a seemingly unrelated way, standing up to somebody so that I could match the empowered frequency and remove the block of that other thing that wanted to come to me. So regardless of what you think conceptually or what you're being told conceptually is how you manifest and how you're going to get this thing to come to you, regardless of any of that, it will always require you expanding and facing some kind of usually challenge to do so. Usually that thing that you're most afraid of or that you're avoiding the most is the thing that if you actually did it and faced it would allow you to manifest more easily and create more easily. And I also want to iterate to, like, it's so important not to manifest from a place of what you think you want, but from a place of what you know you want in your soul. If you find yourself sitting around thinking like, what should I manifest? Or I think I need to manifest something because I'm feeling uncomfortable with my present circumstances. I should try to manifest that thing, or whatever it may be. Manifestation, in my opinion, should feel like a natural flow of the present moment, you, in this moment as you are. It should feel like the manifestation process is, I've talked about this so many times, like the weaving of a web, like a spider. The spider's not really looking at the big picture. It's not trying to create something or hold itself in a position to make something happen. It really is just weaving a web by its very nature. It's not trying so hard. It's only trying with its built-in effort, with its built-in nature, to just Take the step in front of it, which is weaving the web. And this is what you and I feel should be doing as well. It's following the intuitive hit. It's following what feels like it's what needs to happen right now in this moment. Like if I'm so real with myself, if I'm so honest with myself right now, even if it's something that seems uncomfortable, what really needs to happen right now for me to truly be in alignment? Not with what I think I want, not with like the positive love and light vibes all the time, not with I want to be rich and famous and have luxury vehicles and have luxury trips and luxury yachts and all these things all the time, but like, do I need to face my shadow right now? Do I need to make myself a healthier meal? Do I need to take myself for a walk? Do I need to have an uncomfortable conversation with my partner? What's blocking me? What's holding me back in this moment? Like, what is the elephant in the room? And that usually actually is the thing that is needing to happen in order for you to move forward, to remove the block. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps you to understand why, superficially, my manifestation isn't coming in. My manifestation isn't happening. Why can't I seem to create or move forward with what I really want? Well, it's so important to really get in alignment with like trusting your intuition, trusting the unknown, and trusting that manifestation is not this like it's not this narrow linear package that wants to be sold to you. Manifestation, you are always constantly manifesting as a human being. You are becoming something new in every moment. You are creating something new in every moment. That is the process of your personal manifestation. It's unique to you, and you can't know what it's going to look like in the full picture. You might be given inklings, you might be given ideas by spirit, like you might get this hit and just know, okay, here it is, all right. But always, it's necessary to take the action, even when it's uncomfortable. So I hope this helps. I love you very much. Happy manifesting. All right, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.